Dear God, I've gone facially bald.
ShinyObject.
Super7 Ultimate's poster color version SpaceGodzilla will be standing at over 8 inches tall. Big and colorful. And before I get started, I do have to give a loving shout out to my brand new patron, Spikezilla Productions. Thank you so much for becoming a ShinyObject patron there, fam. And now, extra colorful Space Goji. I'm not sure everybody is going to fully understand the feels of seeing something like this being made in the modern day. We'll talk about feelings later. First off, let's cover the basics. SpaceGodzilla is now a very vibrant blue dabba-dee-dabba-die. And since I don't own the original Super7 Ultimate SpaceGodzilla, I can't say if this colorway does the detailing any justice in comparison. But as far as I am seeing and looking, this is very much bringing out all of those amazing details. From the back of SpaceGodzilla's head and neck to his back proper, we are going to get those dorsal crystals, which look rather delicious, spiky salt grains even. And I really do like that at the root of some of these dorsal crystals, we are going to get minor spritzes of blue. Although those blue spritzes at the roots are going to essentially cease as the tail moves on, at least until we get into this Nobel Peace Prize abstract art looking tip of the tail. No, that is not a slight at Super7. It's more so just a slight at how bougie SpaceGodzilla is. I mean, bro is covered head to toe in crystals. SpaceGodzilla is a child of the bling era of hip-hop. Back when MTV was good. Detail-wise, these dorsal crystals aren't going to give you much, but they give you everything you kind of really need. They're going to be angular, rock-like, crystal-like, the whole 9 yards. They're all essentially going to follow the same make and model, shape, and everything else, and I can't be mad at it. Much like SpaceGodzilla's dorsal crystals, his toes are going to receive a bit of a blue spritz. This time they're a bit more noticeable than they are on the back, and that is very much a reference to the original. But now it's time to talk about the multicolored elephant in the room. Let's take a look at this underbelly, this beautiful cornucopia of colors. Oh! Starting at the bottom of SpaceGodzilla's jaw, we are going to get that greenish yellow that will then move into the neck and turn into a green and a yellow and a red. I feel Super7 beautifully recreated this from the original figure, and I genuinely could not be any happier. Shut your front door with your nostalgia pandering arguments. It's invalid because this just looks awesome. SpaceGodzilla is going to have a very seasonal looking crest on top of his head, and I appreciate his attention to detail to that of Christmas. His little Biolante tusks on the side of his head are going to be lovingly painted. He's going to have those evil, angry, piercing red eyes, which I love. And then we get to the teeth, which don't look the greatest. But in comparison to what I've seen on other Godzilla-like creatures before from the Super7 Ultimates line, this is still an improvement. Tell me I'm fucking wrong, because I'm not. I also gotta give a loving shout out to that of Super7's Kyle Wadaga, as bro was championing this variant to be made the very second they decided, alright, the next wave of Ultimates, it's gonna have SpaceGodzilla. So thank you so much, Kyle. I seriously am so happy with this. I can't believe it exists in 2024. 2025, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful colors, beautiful details. This guy, he's practically got it all, but wouldn't you know it? Ooh, there's other things to talk about too. SpaceGodzilla comes with the closed mouth head and 2 fists attached right out the box. But he's also going to come with some classical looking Godzilla hands right here. I kind of just refer to them as paw hands because they do look kind of pawish. Lovely detail, nice white paint, not much else to say. We are also going to get the Jutsu hands, although in this case I guess we can call them telekinesis hands since SpaceGodzilla has telekinesis powers, telekinetic abilities, phone. And then, of course, the bane of everybody's existence. We are going to have a roaring head, which I love so much more than the standard mouth closed head. We're going to be gifted beautiful colors, beautiful detail, paint on the inside of the mouth for the tongue. Yeah, it's still some things to work on here, but again, I still find this to be an improvement over how Wave 1's Ultimate's teeth were painted. Roll with the punches. You gotta give them praises just as much as you gotta give them constructive criticism. You're on the right path to glory. Alright, now let's see if I can get this guy's head off on camera. X to doubt. Nope. How's this for a blowy space goji? God damn, that's tight. No. Oh, wow. Yeah, look at that. Roaring head goes on way easier on my copy. And thankfully, these hands, they actually come off rather easily. Probably the easiest time I've had trying to take off Super 7 Ultimate hands since, what was the last one? Blazing Godzilla. Yeah, those hands were pretty easy to get off. I'm gonna go with the Jutsu/telekinesis hands because I have a nostalgic-based agenda. Oh, yes. Just look at this. Oh my god! Of course I had to do a comparison to the original Trendmasters figure. This is how I first found out this guy right here was a thing. I think Super 7 did an absolutely beautiful job translating this colorway as a whole into a modern day figure. I don't even have any nitpicks going on here, man. Plus Super 7's blue matches the entirety of the figure versus, Trendmasters. Obviously, one was molded in a blue plastic, the other blue rubber, blah 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 blah, the whole 9 yards. This is my SpaceGodzilla. Oh no, he's blinded by nostalgia. Nostalgia, babe. Shut up. I gave my critiques, didn't I? The teeth could use a bit more work, but everything else going on here on a visual paint and detail standpoint is on point. What else can I possibly say? Save for SpaceGodzilla's slinging mound. He was doing it in the 90s, and he's doing it in the modern day. Yes, that means vagina. Am I nostalgic for this colorway? Absolutely. Am I still having fun and enjoying the figure I spent money on? Also absolutely. Honestly, the only way this thing could have been any better is if it had a roar feature. Works for me. And now, let's take a look at some size comparisons. Shokugan, Limited Movie, King, Super 7 Ultimates, plus Trendmasters, 90s HG, Modern Day HG, Action Figure Series, Godzilla Monster Series, Keychain, Finger Puppets. So, yeah. Super 7 cooked. Whoever designed this over at Super 7, whether they worked directly with Super 7 or are hired on to design this, you're awesome. You're fantastic. You absolutely understood the assignment, and you killed it. As you saw already, we are going to get a ball joint at the head up here. You can also turn his head to the right and to the left. And I mean, just look at this. This is him looking up, and that's him looking down. Fire. We will get some slight movement at the neck. He can look a bit down, but I don't want to push that too far because I don't want to scratch any of this beautiful paint off. And we will be able to look from side to side. I am very confident in this doing a full rotation, but again, don't even want to attempt it. I say this about practically any articulated figure ever. If I'm not comfortable doing it, I'm not gonna do it. Now at the arms. The crystals are going to be a softer material than that of the figure, so they will allow some movement, but not crazy amounts of movement. The arms can go that far out on each side. This far forward, this far back. Swivel at the bicep, bend at the elbow, swivel at the elbow, swivel at the wrist, bend up and down and up and down. SpaceGodzilla will be able to swivel at the torso over here. He is able to do a full swivulitation, but you kind of have to work over those dorsal crystals, and you don't want to scrape any of the paint off or possibly break something off. But a full swivel to the left and to the right is possible. Yes. And before I talk about the legs, I do want to just cover the tail right quick for anybody wondering. Yeah, this guy happened way before the great retoolization with their -1 Godzilla Ultimate. But there are some improvements. Nothing crazy, but there are improvements. I believe it's around here where you're going to get the most curve out of the tail. And in this general area, you can actually see the joints when you curve the tail. And I do wish that the whole tail moved just like these two parts here. But from what I've seen of that -1 Ultimate, it looks like Super 7 is well on their way to just nailing it. That being said, we will get a swivel at the base over here. Bit of an up and down motion, but that's mostly due to the tail kind of slipping off the ball joint in his butt. Very tough. Swivel over here. Swivel, 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 swivel. Yes, I do consider this tail an improvement because it can actually curve up and it can actually stay there to some extent. And it can curve to the left and the right and actually hold that stance, which, yeah, It's an improvement. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. I really do need to get a -1 ultimate in my collection soon. The legs can kick up and out pretty far, and they can move back rather far. Since they are on a ball joint, they can swivel around in and out like that, so we can get some nice deep split poses. At the knee, we are going to get... That's all I can get out of the knee. I don't know if it's supposed to bend more or not, but yeah, in the amount of time I've had this is the most I can get out of the knee. I'm sorry. But there will be a swivel at the knee, a bend up and down at the foot over here, as well as... Posability-wise, forgive me if I already said this, but it's 90s in the modern day. You got your basic movements so you can get some good and awesome basic poses. Yeah, I wish the tail moved a bit better. Yeah, I wish the knees bent a little bit more, but god damn me to the bowels of hell, I'm just enjoying my time with this figure. What poses I got out of him, I love. What movement I can get out of him, I can utilize. And you know what? Maybe that means more at the end of the day. And that's it. I'm done. I enjoy it. And as I already said, getting a figure in and just enjoying it in your hands, messing around with it, taking pictures with it, imagination going crazy with some of the poses and lighting things you can do. Shout out to Mike's Monster. Seriously, that photography in your review is... And when next we meet, I will be talking about the SH Monster Arts Oreo Chromatic, aka over dramatic ShinyObject. Oh boy, another ShinyObject. When will he stop? The answer is fucking never.